rush. Body, I got some. You better run when the runners run. You better run when the runners run.
All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone. It is January 31st, 2023. We have an amazing guest tonight, amazing story of how important it is to take action when you see opportunity in front of you. So let's get right into this, guys, because I know this is going to be a fun episode. As always, I got my good brother here, Ricardo Hamilton, a.k.a. Crypto Rick. Mims, make it make sense, my man. How excited are you tonight?
Man, I'm pumped because sometimes you got to hear it in a different way. Sometimes you got to hear it from a different person. Sometimes somebody can help people grasp the magnitude of what we have because they just are in tune with it on a whole nother level, and they're going to be able to articulate and help you feel the magnitude and the reality of what we're dealing here with the debt box and these projects. So I'm fired up and excited about tonight's show. It's definitely going to want to be the best ones that we ever done.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we got to meet Billy Beach in Ghana, Africa for the first time back in November when we went there with the debt box to see the gold mines, the grow operation, the aluminum mines, meet with the Ghana officials to sign some contracts. And this was the first time that we met people who started from the beginning with the debt box.
Yeah.
You know, they started before IX Global was a thing.
Yep.
There was no compensation plan.
Nope.
And we were in awe of all these people. I was like, man, I wish I would have known about this before.
Oh, yeah.
They got to take action before we did, just because of, you know, their connections and network, you know, with people that they knew.
Yeah.
And hearing Billy speak on multiple Zooms, I've just been blown away by his story. And I'm like, we got to get this guy on. We got to document this. And just to expose people, you know, the life-changing, you know, things this company and this opportunity is doing. So let's go ahead and get him in here. Billy Beach is live. What's up, my man?
What's good, guys? How we doing?
Fired up.
All right.
We're winning every single day with what we're doing here. So super excited for you to come on. Thank you so much. So Billy, just, you know, in case people haven't heard about you, don't get into any of the fun details yet, but just some basic information. You know, where are you from? What do you like to do? What were you doing in your life before the debt box even existed?
So I had been a mortgage lender for 20 something years in and out of real estate. Yeah, just kind of, you know, honestly, man, doing the same thing everybody else was trying to do, right? I owned a handful of businesses. I mean, entrepreneur as well at heart. Had an energy drink company. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the like the buy a t-shirt and get a ticket to win a supercar type thing. Had a company like that after 80 kind of jumped off their thing a while ago called Dirt Militia. Yeah, just kind of always had my fingers in, you know, trying to get into other projects and not only something that worked, right, but something that I could believe in and something I could really get behind. Yeah, man, I love cars. I love driving fast. I love making money. It's always been in my blood, and here we are.
And you are from Colorado?
Salt Lake City, Utah. Yep, just
Salt Lake
outside
City, Utah. Okay.
Yep, grew up in Florida, moved out here to Utah in 2001. And I've been here ever since. So basically I'm a Utah now. I think that's what they call it.
All right. So you were in mortgage lending for 20 years.
Yep.
Obviously you understand the real estate market, the game, how, you know, the problems with it, how people make money from it. We'll get into that later.
Yep.
And so I'm assuming at some point you probably met Jason Anderson through like a car networking, you know, fast cars type of thing. Or how long have you known Jason and how did that kind of start?
Yeah, I've known Jason Anderson for a couple of years. And actually the first time I met Jason, I had just bought a new McLaren. So to be clear with the listeners to you guys, I mean, because this is going to weigh heavy later on in some of the questions and some of the story. I had a great career. Yeah, I mean, I was President's Club at every company I worked for, number one in the entire companies for most companies that I worked for. And if it wasn't the entire year, it was the majority of the months. I've done well. I did well for myself. So I finally got my first supercar and I bought a McLaren. When I went to pick it up, the dealer neglected to tell me they only had one key fob. And for anybody out there, if you ever buy a nice car, get 2 key fobs. Okay. So I got 1 key fob. And another friend of ours, who's Jason's really good friend, invited us over to go swimming in the pool at his house. So we get over there, and I'm excited to get in the pool because everybody's in the pool. We're all drinking and they're throwing stuff around. And I jumped in the pool with my key in my pocket.
Oh,
This is about 4 days after I bought the car, guys. Not a good start to friendship. Well, how I met Jason is Jason was in the pool. And at the time I hopped out, I set the key on the side. And of course my hands, my head's between my hands. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm going to do. Jason thought it was hilarious.
of course he did. That's so Jason.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I met Jason Anderson. And, fortunately, I had some guys there knew a little bit about cars, and, I'm like, oh, I'm sure I can figure out a key fob. And Jason's over there going, no, you can't. And I'm like, well, I could probably call, someone else and this and that and get them to come open it up. And he goes, no, you can't. Sure enough, no, you can't. He was right. He was sitting in the corner laughing the whole time.
That is Jason.
He was just shooting it down. So anyway, ended up having to get the car towed down to Scottsdale, Arizona. A couple $1,000s later, I finally get the new key fob. And, that's a whole nother story in itself, because I had to go to 3 different dealerships and damn near ship my car all around the US. And It was a nightmare. So through that, kind of that relationship, a few months later, I got rid of that car because to this day, I believe that car was actually cursed.
It was a setup.
It was a setup. And I ended up getting this Porsche literally the day that we were all planned to go on the Cars for Kids rally, which is a big supercar rally here in Utah. And it's for an awesome cause. But Jason, this rally really hits Jason at home, because Ronald McDonald House is kind of the organization behind it that we raise money for. They did a lot for Jason's sister when her little one was in the hospital. Every year we get up to this thing, and Jason goes up, and they, he's the #1 donor. They bring him in every year, and he just gushes tears, and it just really meant a lot to him. So for us to be able to make it, even going through those trials and tribulations and finally getting the Porsche literally the day of the rally, we ended up taking off, meeting everybody. And then it was a week of a lot of fun. And just really kind of connected with Jason and some of the other guys on a rally and had a good time. And then ever since, we were friends. So it's, he's been a lot more in my life than just the guy behind Debtbox. He's a very dear friend of mine.
Awesome. I did not know that. So this is amazing. Getting lots of good details here.
Right.
So guys, this is the most viewers we've ever had on a runner's live stream. So Ricardo called it. So if you are watching right now, all right, like this, comment, share it out, tag some people, guys. Billy's story is very, very just enthusiastic,
you always gotta value the inside,
yes.
information. It helps paint a bigger picture, especially when you're talking to somebody who has a greater relationship to one of the co-founders of this whole project. Because one of the key things about joining any company or getting part of anything, it's like Billy said, is you got to feel it. It's got to be about the heart. It's not just about the money. And then when he talks about, Jason and what happened with his sister and the foundation and all these things, it helps you see inside of the heart experiences and maybe the mindset a little bit better of, who is behind this project. And it really feels good to know that we have, people who have heart, integrity, or humanity, especially in this era, because some people are just about money. And especially in this space, there's a lot of corrupt rug pulls and all these other things, and companies that won't be around, but are crypto Ponzi scams. And it feels good to know that you're not dealing with something like that and be able to get a little inside details. So that was awesome.
100%. So give us that hashtag Node Life, guys. Hashtag Node Life. All right, Billy. So let's get into this. Give me your perspective, or where you were at, what you were thinking when you hear about this thing called the Debtbox.
Life-changing. Hashtag life-changing.
It is. I want to see that in the chat. Hashtag life-changing.
Hashtag quit your day job. Yeah. No, that's honestly, the sentiments that you just said, guys, listen, if you're on this, I'm gonna speak to your viewers for 1 second, okay?
Yeah.
If you guys are on this and you are either currently talking to someone about DebtBox, or have people that are interested in DebtBox, get them on this, okay? Because the information that I'm about to give you guys and what I'm about to tell you guys, you will not find anywhere else. Okay. And the only reason that I'm able to talk about these types of things, and I'm not giving you sneaky inside info or anything, but I'm talking the personal side of this, because I got into DebtBox, guys, the 5th day after this project launched. And we're going to talk about the entire journey from day one. And to Ricardo's point, none of you guys out there know Jason and have heard the things that I've heard. And I don't mean at DebtBox meetings or in DebtBox office. I mean, last summer sitting in Jason's pool, me, him, and my partner, Ben Daniels, just sitting there having a couple drinks and getting to this of Jason. Not to this of
Right.
Jason. Jason is nothing less than brilliant. But to the heart of Jason, that's what I'm going to give you guys tonight, because I think that's what's missed in 90% of the conversations online. It's all about what's my ROI and what am I going to make a day? And we all get spoiled in crypto, right? Because everybody has heard a story about, oh, I bought 10,000 of these coins because Reddit told me to, and it went up and I made all this money, right? And don't get me wrong, like hey, you've got to be a capitalist before you can be a philanthropist, right? And I truly believe I love being a philanthropist. I love doing things for the community. But there's a way to get there, right? And that stuff's important. But so got a handful of people hopped in. I feel like we can hit some hearts right now. So guys, one of the most important things, okay, and one of the things that hit me the hardest in this entire project, and we'll kind of go through my journey, but when we first met Jason, and the first time that I heard about DebtBox, Jason wasn't even calling it DebtBox, right? It was this hedge fund mixed with humanitarian, mixed with crypto project, right? There was no website, there was no app, there was nothing. There was, in fact, Jake came to my office with a laptop, showed me these graphs and pictures of oil wells. And to this day, that conversation, I was like, guys, I have no idea. If you're trying to put pieces together, maybe I'm not smart enough. I don't know what you're selling me, dude, but I'm in, right? I'm in. Okay. So Jason looked at me that day in my office and he said, look, he goes, we were the hedge fund investing members in another project where we learned how to tokenize large scale projects and businesses. Okay? And he said, and what we have is over the last 12 to 15 years, we've been working with the government of Ghana, and we have these large scale commodity projects. And we are new to this, but we've learned how to pull these two together. You guys ready for this? And Jason said, in the next year, I'm going to make 10,000 new millionaires.
Woo.
You're looking at one. Okay. That's that right. I'm telling you guys, that was a defining moment in what was to come behind.
I put a little pause in there, man. That's huge.
Just dreaming bigger, right?
Just dreaming bigger, right? And it wasn't what do we always hear when we talk about, hey, invest in my company or come invest in this, you're going to get a return of this or you're going to get that, right? And it's it's usually most of the time a somewhat hollow conversation,
Yeah.
right? Money is usually a hollow conversation. Okay. This was not that conversation. In fact, Jason didn't come to us and say, hey man, give me $100,000 and I'll give you this, I'll give you that. Jason came to us and said, this is what we're doing. This is what we've learned how to do. I have a personal goal to make 10,000 new millionaires. And then he sat and looked at us for a second. And we were both, everybody was kind of waiting to speak. And I said, so what now? And he goes, well, how much do you trust me? I said, buddy, I love you, dude. You're one of my best friends now. And he goes, okay. He goes, because I'm not going to tell you what to give me. He goes, I want you to give me what you are comfortable, what you believe our friendship is worth. Okay. Later on that day, I called my wife, wired Jason over some money, and that was the first time that I invested in DebtBox.
Wow.
In fact, 10 minutes after Jason left my office, me and Ben Daniels, my partner, we've been best friends. I mean, Ben is literally my brother. We've been best friends for close to 20 years. As soon as Jason walked out, I called Ben and I said, look, I don't know what I just bought, but Jason seemed really excited about it. And he has, a huge house and a handful of Ferraris. So I think we should listen to him.
Yeah.
So I'm sending him to your office. So go give him some money. So Ben calls me a couple hours later and he goes, I think I learned about as much as you did. I have no idea what we just bought into, but it seemed like a good idea. So that was the initial start of us getting into DebtBox. It was very, very little information, but Jason knows markets, Jason understands money. And if you guys are ever blessed enough to be in a room with this guy for 10 to 20 minutes, just his wealth of knowledge is literally overwhelming. I know you guys, we spend a lot of time in Africa, and yeah, it's just, he's an incredible human. But that's how it all started. That's how DebtBox started.
So I want to double down on that because, we started in July with the DebtBox and IX Global.
Yep.
And, Jason usually moves in the background, he had like 1 or 2 interviews. And when we were in Ghana, I was completely blown away. I'm like, this guy's a genius.
Yeah.
In marketing, in business, in crypto. And I understand, I said at the event in Salt Lake City, I don't think most of you understand. He said this, right, on the stage, because you know how he is, right? He's very cocky. He's very sarcastic. He's funny. It's like, you guys have no idea what we have here.
Yeah.
And these are people who travel to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And he was 100% correct. Like, unless you've been in crypto for, 5-6 years, you understand the market, you understand tokenomics, you understand, distribution, decentralization. There is nothing like this. There is the closest thing to this, I would say, is Hex. And there's really nothing, no commodities there or anything like that. So there is nothing like this in the complete market. The tokenomics, the entire ecosystem is just absolutely genius.
Yeah.
Ricardo, anything that you heard from what Billy said that just kind of that blew you away, or you want to hit on real quick?
Yeah, just really quickly, it came down to vision for me. People want to follow people with a vision, who have a heart. And so when you have somebody who you trust and you built a relationship with, and their heart, what their motivating factor is, and then they share with you a vision because of some information and knowledge that they have to actually do something. They say, I'm going to create 10,000 millionaires. We're talking about, once again, hashtag life changing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When, and that's not done every day. And then when you have, like you said, the vision and the know-how, and those dynamic relationships, it's a beautiful thing. And that's part of the reason why we here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Billy, okay, you give Jason some money, you're like, listen, this guy's made it. He's good. This is what I say in our presentations. Like, you guys have to understand, Jason's doing this to change the world and change lives. Like, he's good. He could not work a day in his life, do whatever he wants. But as we know, typically people that have motivation and wealth don't like to do that, right? Elon Musk could do that. He still wants to change the world. So give me the vision, the stories of those early days as nodes come online, as you can buy the first black gold. Like, how much did it cost? Like, were you, I don't even know how that all works. So just drop some knowledge.
Yeah. So the day that we wired over money, we kind of get that basic info, right? And like, what are we buying? He goes, well, you're buying a licensing node. And we were like, okay, we don't know what that means. And we were like, well, how much each are they? And at the time the day that I bought them, they were 1,700, was I think the original drop price was 1,500. So we bought them for 1,700, and for about 2 months, there was nothing. You know, I mean, we knew something was coming, right? And then all
Right.
of a sudden, we get a text from Jason and he goes, "Hey, go to this website, app.thedebtbox.com," right? And we log in and it's a black screen. There's like a line. It says the number, I think, I don't know, whatever I bought, 10, I think like 10 of them at the time or so, eight or 10 of them at the time. That little 8 up there, and it had this little ticker. And this little ticker is just going and going and going, right? And it's got a dollar sign next to it. So we're like, Jason, what? And we actually had Jason and some friends over that night at our house for dinner. And I was like, all right, dude, what is this? He goes, well, that's your money. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, this thing's just ticking. He goes, yeah, you're just making money. And of course, you know, the early days, I was like, all right, man, I don't understand. Like, what do you mean how am I making money? And he's like, well, you know, we have this oil well in Nevada, and a portion of, you know, the royalties that we get from that kind of go into the tokenomics, and then it gets distributed to you. And I was like, okay, dope. I love this. Right. So we're watching. So Black Gold initially launched at, I think it was 5 zeros and a 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, right? So we're watching this thing, and a couple days later it goes up a little bit, and a couple days later it goes up a little bit, and we, you know, then Jason and Jake start doing Zooms, right? Like there's big Zooms now. I mean, with hundreds of people. These are Zooms with like 9 of our friends, you know, and they're trying to explain this stuff to us, and they're talking about these oil wells, and you know, this was a learning curve for them too, right? I mean, they had done the hedge fund thing and they had done the tokenomics thing. They hadn't brought them together yet. So they were still trying to figure stuff out. And, you know, we had our naysayers on. I remember this, you know, about the second or third week of the Zooms, this guy's on and, you know, he's like, I'm going to report you and I'm going to call the FTC and SEC and blah, blah, blah. Right. And the funniest thing, man. So Jason's brother, sitting there, and, you know, if it was me and you started attacking my stuff, furniture is going to move, right? but I specifically remember this moment, and Jake calmly, the guy's just ranting and finally stops, and Jake calmly goes, well, sir, I guess this just isn't for you, and that's okay. You know, and the guy hops off, and we're all in the chat over here, like you guys have the chat, we're like, screw that guy, and this, you know. So that was, you know, that was very, very early on. So handful of weeks later, you know, we get an updated website, right? And the website looks cleaner and it's got more information on there. And now it's got how many tokens you're getting a day. And you know what I mean? And then still same token prices going up and going up and going up. So finally, you know, a handful of months later, you know, Jason's like, hey, check this out. And he's like, I texted you something. I was like, okay. So we open it up. Here's the app, right? So now we open the app. We're like, oh man, cool. Now we have an app, right? So now what's happening? We all have jobs, right? We can't sit on our desktop all day and look at this thing. No. Now we have an app, and every one of us all day long. Hey man, I just made $8. Hey man, I just made another $8. Oh my God, did you see the token go up? And we're screenshotting, we're sending it to all of our friends, and we're just building all this hype in our group, you know. But we still don't even know what this thing is. So a handful of months later, you guys have seen the app. It's relative to what it is now. The website's relative to what it is now. And we hit Pancake Swap, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, man, this thing's real, right? These little tokens that we've been watching, and to give everybody a little bit of perspective, so Debtbox officially launched in November. It didn't hit Pancake Swap, I want to say, until March or April. Okay. So what we learned very early on is they were allowing us to use tokens that we had mined to purchase more licenses, right? So that's all we could do. So that's all we did, right? There was no other way to spend the money. It wasn't real yet until it got on Pancake. So we kept rolling, and that's how I've ended up with, I think I have 58 Black Gold licenses right now. Yeah, it's fortunate.
Wow. So hold on. I just want everyone to understand this. So the Debtbox launches November 2022. It doesn't hit Pancake Swap till about March, correct? Is that what you said?
It launched
November 21.
21,
not 22.
November
21.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
November 2021.
Hit Pancake Swap.
Pancake Swap March 2022.
Less than 6 months. Okay. It hit the DEX. Yeah.
So again, I just want people to understand something here. Like, they couldn't cash out. You know, they were going on the reputation and the respect they had for these founders of, like, we trust you guys. We know you know what you're doing. So I just want to put that out to you guys, right, that are watching right now, is trust the system, right? Trust the people who have proven themselves. And actually, I said this when Billy and I were talking on the phone, that was a blessing in disguise.
It
They went
was.
liquid, that they
Yep.
couldn't cash out. It forced them to double down on getting income producing assets. Not, I got a bill, or I made a bunch of money, I'm going to go and buy some new shoes or go on a shopping spree or a vacation. No, they were forced to just buy more and more income producing assets. So Mims, how huge is this for people to grasp in their head as they're getting these rewards and payments into their own wallet every single day?
That's huge. I want to take a moment for a little side note here. So I had like I don't know if it was a scammer or a bot or something, just replied to a comment to somebody in the chat, and that wasn't me. So I just blocked that account, just so people know. So they're getting quick on these live streams now.
Yeah, scammers are out, guys. Be very careful.
Yeah. No, I mean, so, once again, it just shows that, obviously, like you said, it came down to the heart and them trusting Jason. It's like, okay, because nowadays people see money on a screen, they say, well, I can't do nothing with it. Then we know it's probably not something that we should be touching or deal with. But, obviously, them, like you said, being able to not cash out and actually buy more nodes has literally changed their lives forever, because they didn't really, people don't really know. And that's it goes back to what you said, Mike, and what Billy says, and what Jason says, and what we all say, what we all know now. The people really don't understand how big this is.
No.
You just don't really understand the magnitude of what we're dealing with. And like we said, Jason's a genius. They understand hedge fund, they VC, and then they bought the blockchain and crypto to it. They've married commodities. They've done something that hasn't been done before. They've set a standard. And in that process, is creating real millionaires. He's hitting, I think he's already hit the goal, but of 10,000 millionaires. And I mean, it's like, it just goes to show that you're dealing with something real, and you're hearing it from somebody who experienced it from the beginning.
And so, Billy, kind of walk us through your mindset in those early days where you're telling people about this. There's no compensation plan,
right?
There's no agreement or deal with IX Global and the debt box, because to me this is huge, because obviously we do some network marketing affiliate stuff, and my first rule is, would I buy this if there was no compensation plan tied to it? Does just the service, the product, get me excited enough to tell somebody about this? So what was it like in those early days before IX Global, as you're sharing this with people? Because I want people now we got the heat with IX Global, but you didn't even have that. And you were just excited to share with people because you knew you're going to win. You have an income producing asset now backed by commodities. So what was it like in those early days telling people about this?
Yeah, there was there was a lot of kind of the same stuff we run into now, right? Oh, it's a pyramid, and it can't be real. What we really ran into, actually, honestly, guys, what we ran into more than anything in the early days was the experts, right, trying to disprove this mining. So for those of you guys out there that don't understand true crypto mining, okay, there's node mining, which is a reward system, right? A reward token. And then there's actual like blockchain, crypto mining, like Bitcoin mining.
Proof of work. Yeah. Proof of work like Bitcoin.
Exactly. So, a lot of the arguments that we got in early days with this was, well, it can't possibly be mining because what algorithm are you solving? That doesn't even make sense to have a commodity in the back. It's like, we're not solving algorithms, right? This is a reward. Okay. And the reason, guys, this is super important to understand. Yes. Okay. Because I get into this a lot when I'm explaining this to people, and they're not grasping the concept. The reason you're getting a reward in the form of a token, okay, is that keeps out the FTC, that keeps out the SEC, that keeps out all regulation, because I'm looking at some of these messages and seeing some of these guys saying, wow, I can't wait to get my first node. Hey, don't wait, do what you can to get one. However, I'm telling you guys, not most of us, including myself, most of us would not be here to take advantage of this opportunity. Okay, if this was a standard hedge fund type project, because you're not accredited investors,
Exactly.
right? It's a different world. Okay, and the reason they have built this, and listen to what I'm saying, guys. Okay, these guys could have taken these large hedge fund projects. Mike, Ricardo, we were there sitting with the attorney. Remember the attorney for gas and whatever, not petroleum, but whatever it was, in that room over in Ghana. Those guys don't need us.
No.
They were doing just fine on their own, right? But in order for Jason and their team to deliver to the average person who has $1,500 in their pocket right now, that's everything they've got, right? You can still take advantage of this because you're getting a reward in a token, okay? And you're not investing, you're buying software. This took a lot of genius to put behind this to deliver to the everyday person. Okay, and on my Zooms, right? I mean, same thing. We have a couple hundred people on our Zooms on our nights when we do them. That's something that I really try to deliver over to you guys. If you guys were sitting next to me at a bar and I was a hedge fund manager and you leaned over and said, "Man, I saw you pull up in your McLaren and you got this suit on and your Rolex watch and everything else, dude, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a hedge fund manager." And they're like, "God, I have a little nest egg. I just have a little nest egg, man. But if I could just get it in with something and get your returns." And I lean over and I say, "Yeah, we can't do that." Now, most people, right, are going to say, well, it's regulation. Okay, that's a little bit of it, but it's also, guys, the big boys play with the big boys and they don't want you playing with them.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. That is where this is life-changing, and it's so different. And that is what these guys have done, is they've created a platform for us, the little people, to play with the big boys and earn a fraction of return. Okay. So keep that in mind, right? When you're talking to people and you're relaying this out, and that was something very early on, is what I'm getting to, something very early on that was a struggle for people to understand, right? Like, you're not mining. This isn't, we're like, no, we're not. We're earning a return from massive projects that normal people don't have access to, right, to allow us to do that. So, that was a lot of the struggle of growing the grassroots, guys, is we didn't have the big platforms like IX has now, right? Where they could plug into, a couple 100,000 people around the world. And we also didn't have the results because we kept buying licenses, and sure, we were seeing the tokens and our amounts. If you guys have Bev and Blocks right now, what's going on? Everybody's looking at their account going, "Oh man, I'm making $9 a day on this Bev license. This is awesome. I'm so stoked," right? Can you withdraw it? Nope.
Not yet.
Right? Because Pancake Swap.
Yeah.
Okay. So leading up to then we get on Pancake Swap. Okay. And there's some real liquidity, right? So people start pulling out and we start hearing this. And I'll be honest, guys. I mean, I have a crypto mentor. I've been in crypto for a handful of years. So for us that do have crypto knowledge prior to this project, right, we knew how to use Pancake Swap. We hop on. We didn't send stuff to the wrong blockchain, and we could cash out very early. But there were a lot of people that couldn't because they just didn't have the knowledge. And it wasn't like it is now, where you have the app and you have all these other tools. You have this awesome support system.
Mm-hmm.
Someone, if you don't know how, somebody can help you, right? We didn't have any of that stuff. So there was a lot of that growing pains and stuff as well. But I think one of the biggest defining moments for me when we were like, wow, man, this really is amazing, is when I pulled a couple $100,000 out of my account and redid the basement and put in a theater room in my house.
Nice.
And after that money hit my account and I wrote my contractor a check, I was like, wow,
this is
real. We really have, this is
something from the digital to the real world.
From the digital to the real world, right? That was so that, I think after that moment, guys, when we started spending money, in real world time and real world assets, is when I started calling everybody. I have all my family members in this. Look, I'll be honest, guys. I don't talk to my immediate family, and I haven't in a long time. Okay. But my wife's family were very, very close. Her dad's been a professional horse trainer his whole life. And, you don't show pay stubs there. It's hard to do things, right? So, I've always kind of joked, like, when dad moves in our basement, tell you what, Dad's not moving in our basement anymore. You know why? Because Dad makes about $5,000 to $6,000 a month now because we got him started early with licenses, and he's always going to have a residual income regardless of what happens, you know, and that's an awesome feeling. That's really hard to create for anybody else. So leading up to that point, obviously we start really making money, pulling money out, and then it wasn't, but 2 or 3 months later, I retired. No longer had to go to work. I had replaced the income that I had made for 22 years. And like I said, guys, I was at the pinnacle of my career.
Wow.
And I bagged it because I wanted to do something for myself and I wanted to go do something more. 6 weeks later, as you find out when you're only, early 40s, retirement gets real boring. So me and Ben had retired at the same time. We both had quit our full-time jobs. I think I wore the same pajamas for about 6 weeks laying around my house. If you guys have seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where he's, the pot with the Cheerios, man, that was me. So I get a text from Ben and he's like, "Hey man, I'm literally losing my mind. We gotta do something else." And I wrote back, I said, "Yeah, dude, I'm losing it. I can't sit here and watch Netflix anymore." So I called Jason and I said, "Hey," I said, "Look, we referred a ton of people into DebtBox, right?" I said, I know you guys still want more growth, right? Me and Ben have been in sales and marketing our entire careers. And as a real estate agent and as a lender, guys, everything in that industry as far as success goes is meeting people and having a massive network, right? Which we have. I said, "Look, why don't you let us start a sales force?" Jason kind of snickers and he goes, "Well, somebody beat you to it." They had met with Joe Martinez. Okay. So about 2 weeks later, Jason calls me and he goes, "Look, I want you to come meet Joe." I said, "Okay." I didn't know. Now, keep in mind, guys, I had opportunities to join massive network marketing companies in the past. In fact, one of the guys that's now in our downline was at another very, very high up position. I would have been first under him. I declined it. And this was probably about 2008, 2010, somewhere in there. I said, man, the network marketing's not for me. I don't really want to do that. He had 2 Ferraris and a Lamborghini Huracan about 4.5 years later. And I will tell you, that lit a fire under my ass. In any event, so I'm sitting across the table from Joe, okay? And I didn't know, again, that IX was a network marketing platform. All I knew was I was meeting someone to talk to them about the consumer direct and sales division, okay?
Right.
So Joe starts talking to me about binary lines and all this other stuff way over my head. I'm like, I don't even understand what he's talking about. So I kind of paused. I said, "Joe, with all due respect," I said, are you guys, like, is IX a network marketing company?" And he goes, "Yes." And I said, "All right, okay." So Ben was not with me in that meeting. I texted Ben and I said, "Well, this is a network marketing company, man. We ain't doing this shit."
Right.
We'll have the text. I can show you guys. So about 10 days later, we start seeing posts popping up because we had got added to some of the pages. At the time, natural gas licenses direct through DebtBox, which was the hot commodity. I have 63 of those. I mean, we were doing everything we could to get a bunch of them.
You understand, Billy? You're gonna make Ricardo so jealous right now. He is literally dying inside.
So
That's awesome.
at the time, right, I had gone heavy in natural gas, and they were up to 43,000. I want to say they were like 42.5 or 43,000 directly through the DebtBox channel. Okay.
Wow.
And you're buying them like hotcakes.
They were selling like hotcakes.
Yeah,
So
you're like, "This is amazing. $40,000 for a NAGI license. Sign me up. Let's
Yeah.
go."
Yeah.
So keep in mind, guys, at the time, right, I had, like I said, I had 63 of them. So when they were even at a $40,000 price, you can imagine how many had been sold directly through DebtBox. I was still mining 1.2 million coin a day.
Woo.
Right now to this day, I think I still do somewhere around 900,000 tokens a day, which, guys,
Wow.
I get it right now at a 000, right? Everybody, there's probably people sitting there going, "Yeah, but the token's 3 zeros and a 1." Yeah, but I'm getting 900,000 of them a
900,000.
day
Oh my God.
So in 4 or 5 years, when they're 30 cents, y'all can come see me on my island.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts.
So anyway, so we find out, we start seeing some marketing material from IX, right? You guys had come on board. Somewhere along the line, we get a price list, and me and Ben both saw it. And we were like, whoa, they're selling natural gas licenses for $4,500. Okay. So we start telling people, and we're not telling people out of the idea of, okay, maybe we want to do this network marketing thing, right? We start telling people because it's a value, right?
Yeah.
So we start calling all of our friends, I mean, our attorney, our family, everybody within earshot. 3 days later, me and Ben are now working out of Jason's conference room, and there's a line out the door. We're there for 8-9 hours a day of people just flocking in to buy natural gas licenses, right?
Mm.
We don't even know what we're doing. I mean, we're just sticking people wherever in the binary thing, and you click it and people drop down. We're like, there's a spot, we put them in there, right? We're both looking at this thing and it says left commission, right commission. We don't even know what that means, right? No clue. Okay, because we didn't care. Okay, we cared about the value of the asset that we were now able to sell people at such a value price. Okay, so about 3.5 weeks. Well, no, I guess it was about 5 weeks later. Ben starts talking to Travis and starts figuring out this whole thing, right? And he comes in the next morning. He goes, "Dude, you got to look at this." I said, "Okay." And he opens a laptop and he goes to IX portal and he goes, "Look at that." And I was like, "Okay." And it said like 102 or 109, something like that, thousand. I was like, "Is that our sales?" And he goes, "No, dude, that's our commission."
Six figures without even knowing what you're doing.
5 weeks. And one of the weeks I was on vacation. So Ben was running the fort by himself. And, you know, it was, and this was like the first week. The first week we got set up, I took off. I came back, and then we were real busy for about 4 or 5 weeks afterwards. This was the very last week of August, okay, through September, right? So from that time through the end of the year, I'm gonna hit you guys with a crazy number here, okay? Me and Ben together, damn near on accident, because of such a solid project, a great platform, incredible marketing, right? And just this this whole thing where everybody's helping each other and just this great community, nearly $400,000 in commission.
Wow.
Unreal.
Wow.
And we didn't mean to do this. We did this on accident.
I love it.
That's
I love
this
it. Mims,
you guys have right now that I'm on tonight, man. I don't know. I could probably buy a microphone. Listen, for you guys listening, I had trouble logging into this. So if you can set this up, you're a step ahead of me.
Billy, absolutely amazing, absolutely life-changing. I know this is going to inspire so many people. Mims, make it make sense. I mean, what should people take away from just the story, the journey, and the history Billy dropped on us tonight?
I mean, it can't get no better than this, folks. I mean, you're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, like in that phrase. It's like, this is somebody who's telling you, like, I've changed my family's life because of this. You know, things that I was worried about, I didn't have to worry about anymore. So now I'm able to do even greater things. You know, and then I liked when he talked about this preconceived notion that, MLM, I ain't touching it. And that's the mindset of everybody. And unfortunately, there are some bad companies out there, but this isn't one of them. And I talk to people all the time, and I'm like, well, you lost your last girlfriend. Did you stop looking? The last relationship ain't work out. Did you stop looking? No, you kept going. Right. And when you have that vision, you have that goal, because one thing we understand is that this industry, this market, what else do you go to? Back to a 9-to-5, becoming an employee, or maybe self-employed, maybe own a job. But that it takes opportunities like this that's available to you that can change your life forever. And I like that he talked about he lead with the value of the asset. This is what we do as well. When we started, we didn't really, it wasn't about the comp plan. I don't like leading with comp plan. It's not always about making money. It's about the value of the product, and that's why we stuck with like assets and gold and silver and things of this nature. And when we share this with people, we're trying to let people know the value of the product. The compensation plan is fire. Okay. It's like, one of the best compensation plans out there, right? But it's really about, does everybody win? Because not everybody's a recruiter, not everybody's a sharer. Not everybody has time for that. They don't like to do that. But if I know that I provide them with this asset, are they going to be winning with me? Are they still going to earn? Are they still going to be benefiting? And that's what gets really excited. And when you guys hear that they made all these sales, it wasn't because they were focused on commissions. It was because they were focused on this life-changing value that Jason and the founders have created with this project, dealing with commodities and revolutionary technology and this blockchain. And so, it's just, it's exciting because it makes it real. This is, once again, you're hearing the proof of concept story. Like this is the proof of concept has already been done. You're hearing it from somebody who is living that proof of concept that we talk about and that we know is real. So I know this is huge. It's priceless.
Wow. Okay, so Billy, let's go here now. Okay. Again, guys, let's recap here. I mean, this guy was crushing it. He had a McLaren before the debt box. All right. He obviously knows what he's doing. He was crushing it in the real estate lending game. But what did he have to do when he was doing this? He was making, I'm sure, a good amount of money. He had to trade his time for money. He had to, even if it was going to a place or getting on a Zoom or emailing people, he had to trade his time for money. And he had lots of nice things. I'm sure he was living a great life, but he didn't have the time freedom he has now. And I can only imagine, the things he's doing now to follow his passions and give more to charity. But Billy, maybe just help people understand. This is kind of the big push we're doing now, is everyone's thinking about real estate. You can make all this money in real estate. I love real estate. It's great. Okay. But when you look at the average person now, why should almost everyone consider getting started with nodes and daily passive income for commodities to maybe build up to where you're getting real estate? And I'll pull up some numbers kind of as you talk, since you've obviously been in this industry for almost 2 decades. It's hard for people to grasp this because they're just always hearing real estate, real estate, real estate.
Yep. So everybody got their pen and paper out?
Get notes. Kids, get the notes ready. Let's go.
Get the notes ready. I actually, one of the very first content videos that I did for Debtbox, when we finally, took it to the head and said, all right, we're going to go full steam with IX, right? We've done really well. Now let's put effort into this, like you guys are, right? Not the accidental thing. Now let's do this with purpose. Okay. I'm going to run some numbers past you guys. A $500,000 house, condo, townhouse, whatever. Okay. Your minimum down payment for an investment property, again, right? We're talking about an investment. Okay. So we're going to stick with investment property stuff. Your minimum down payment is 20%. So your investment, okay, is $100,000. That's what you have to come out of pocket with. Okay. I want you to write that down in 2 places. All right. Because we're going to table the second one for a second. All right. So you put $100,000 down. You now owe $400,000 on that property. Okay. At a 6.5% interest rate, which is a good one right now. Right. Yeah. Assuming everything's perfect and you don't get any extra fees in there, your payment is going to come out, including taxes, insurance, and all the extra crap, right? About $2,800 to $3,000 a month. Okay. Your average rent in an area like this here in Utah, at a $500,000 house, it's going let's call it $3,200 to $3,400 a month. That's probably being a little gracious. Okay, so if we're making $500 a month in net rent, okay, times 12 months, your net profit that year is $6,000. So put that off to the side. Okay, now let's take in market consideration. Market consideration in most places right now, at best case, is going to gain you, let's call it 10% a year. That's on a stable market. Okay, we all know right now we are not in stable markets. All right. So again, you've got a $500,000 house. So 10% a year, let's say 50 grand. So our total gain over the year is about $56,000. Best case scenario. Okay. That's assuming You don't have attorney costs from throwing anybody out. You don't have missed rent. You don't have to replace $10,000 in carpet because someone's dog, peed all over it, right? That's also your time, right? When your tenant breaks a window or a water heater breaks or something, you've got to go out and spend that amount of time. Time is money, right? Tenants blowing your phone up, asking you for things. Again, time is money, right? Okay. So here comes the most important part. Can you access in 12 months that $56,000? Can you put that money in your checking account physically? No.
Nope.
You know why you can't? Because you are not under 80% loan to value of the property. It's going to take you 5 to 7 years to be able to access that 50 grand. Now, let's take that same $100,000 that you put down at the bottom of the page. Let's assume you bought 100 nodes on initial license drop, okay, at $1,000 a pop, right? Now, guys, Debtbox drops new projects. They have 12 more slated for this year, right? So chances are, if you time it right, you can get in on $1,000 purchase price, right? Guys, how many have we sold over the last couple of weeks? Mike, I saw you post some couple things. About 100,000 nodes.
Yeah, we're almost at 100,000 for Bev.
And
in
just
less
now,
than 2 weeks.
Just now, 3 hours ago, the price went up, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's say you buy 100 nodes at $1,000, and each one of those nodes makes, on average, let's say, the new projects right now are $8 or $9. Let's go with $5 a day.
Right.
Okay, so what's 100 nodes times $5 a day?
500
$500 a day.
500.
How many days are in a year? 365. Somebody get the calculator out. So 365 days times $500 a day. Mike, what number did you come up with? I came up with $182,500.
I did not. I don't have my calculator right now.
Well,
$182,500.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Is that money you can access?
Yeah.
100%. Right.
Yep.
Pull it out. Put it right into your checking account. Who still wants to buy real estate?
That's fire.
So,
Simple.
all right. So let's just recap this so everyone can see this. All right. This is.
And you ain't got to wait 5 to 7 years.
Wait. Did you say 500 nodes or 100?
No, so I think it's about
100,000.
100,000.
That's only 100,000 because or are you just trying to show how less you can invest here? Because you only put in 100,000 into these nodes. Oh, but you're saying the down payment. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. The down
All right.
payment. Yeah.
So a
Yeah, if you bought a
$500,000
house.
house, your down payment's 100,000.
Right.
You
So
owe
you buy
$400,000.
$100,000 in nodes at $1,000.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's $500 a day.
So your total gain, assuming the market goes up 10% a year, is $56,000 a year. You can't access it for cash flow or profit. You got 5 to 7 years to do it. So,
Yep.
but even if it's 56,000, best case scenario,
Best case
not
scenario.
even factoring in what's going on right now. Here we have 182,000 liquid, cash out anytime to do whatever you want, buy more nodes, buy real estate if you want to. So really in a year,
Yeah.
you could
double
have
your real
done,
estate. You almost double your real estate investment.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because now you take that 100 grand, you put it back in your pocket. Now you've got 82,000 to go buy that investment property that you just have to have.
right.
Right. And then
Yeah,
one other major factor is that the next day, okay, you're going to continue to keep mining. Okay. You're still getting that $5 a day. You're still getting $500 a day. After you done cashed out all $182,500 to do whatever you want to do, the next day you're still making $500 a day and so on and so on.
And no mortgage or debt, as Judy says, right? 'Cause
Exactly.
The first way with the real estate, you're still on hook for that mortgage if the market goes down, your tenants move out, you need cash flow covering that mortgage payment every single month.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
And
That was amazing, Billy. I mean,
Yeah, that's
spot
huge.
on. And again, guys, like we've brought this up before, and it's just a different way to show it. But basically, you make 10, 11% every year. So for every $10,000 invested, you're getting around 1,000 back with real estate. Well, with the nodes we're looking at now, we're looking at, for every 10,000 you put in, you're getting about 14,000, 12,000, some 6, some 10. These have all changed because of prices have changed, but I think we made our point, Billy.
Yep.
So what I want to talk about now is, because we're almost done. Tell us about Core One Crypto. I just found out about this, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it more. I can pull up the website here in a minute, but why are you passionate about this, and what is your mission when it comes to Core One Crypto?
Well, how many calls have you guys got where people have sent Ethereum to their debt wallet?
Oh gosh,
Which is BEP20. Yeah, exactly. So
that's what I do all day.
that's what we do all day, right? Look, guys, the fact of the matter is less than 5% of the population in the world is into crypto. Okay. And less than 2% of that is proficient, right? And what I mean by proficient is, how to use PancakeSwap, what different blockchains are, right? You can manage yourself a little bit. You know how to set up a Binance account. You can actually withdraw out of your Binance account or swap for different tokens, etc. Right? So what the Core One Crypto was born out of the necessity of the average investor, right, in DebtBox. So what Core One is just like it says, the first AI powered blockchain education platform. So guys, any of you that are in debt, right, that have debt licenses, want debt licenses, or referring people to debt licenses, get with Mike. Mike can get you hooked up on a little discount code there. There is a large free platform within the Core One Crypto education platform there for debt licenses. Okay, it teaches you everything: how to withdraw, how to set up 2FA, how to move money in and out of your wallet, how to move your rewards, everything that you need to know. Okay, now the step up, yep, there's the list of videos there. Guys, this is free. Again, this is free information that Core One, that this is my company. I'm the CEO. We have a board of 7 other crypto experts, one of them that's been in crypto over 20 years, who is actually my mentor, actually is the one that creates all the content in here. A lot of great information, keep you out of the weeds, keep your people out of the weeds, and keep your people, most importantly, safe. Guys, there's a handful of people within the debt community that have had over $10,000 taken out of their wallet because they made a mistake because they didn't have the proper education. Okay. This has nothing to do with IX, nothing to do with DebtBox, right? These things are very, very secure, but it's very easy to make one small move the wrong way and lose all of your money. Okay. Now the second step in Core One is there's the silver package and then the upcoming gold package. So in the silver package, guys, what you're going to learn how to create a Binance. You're going to learn how to buy BNB token, which is required in the debt community. You're going to understand blockchain. You're going to understand what is a layer 1, what is a layer 2, what is Trust Wallet, right? All the other things that you hear all these people talking about all the time, and you get off your computer and go, well, I don't really know what they meant, but let's press on, or let's go to YouTube, or let's Google this. Guys, this is vetted, very, very solid, correct information. And then finally, the gold package. The gold package is for the crypto expert. Okay, it's 52 separate trainings. You get one training delivered a week, as well as with a quiz. You get online email tech support. So if you do happen to send stuff to the wrong wallet, you can email us. We'll help you try to recover that. This is the package where basically you go, hey, I don't ever want to ask anybody anything about crypto anymore. In fact, I want to be the expert. I want to be the one on the Zoom telling people exactly what this is, every detail, whether it's Web 3.0, NFTs, staking, what is proof of work, what is proof of stake. Mike, you mentioned Hex earlier. I've got a ton of money staked in Hex for about 9 years. It's a great project.
Smart.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, guys, that you can make money within this world outside of the debt ecosystem. And that's what this project is. It's all just straight education. We don't sell token. We don't advise on, any of that stuff. We are not that type of project, but we will make sure that you get the proper education, safeguard your wallets, know how to transfer things, and know how to function on your own. And again, reach out to Mike, because Mike does have a discount code for all the debt package is obviously free, but he's got a nice discount code for the rest of the packages as well. And if you guys need any other information, come to the website, send us an email.
No, I love it, Billy. This is great.
Awesome.
And this is kind of some of the stuff we're doing with our app as well. But well done. This looks super slick. And again, guys, somebody asked, it's not a year. This is a one time gives you a lifetime subscription to. So again, we will put some things in the Runners Facebook group on how to get the discounts. And I'm sure we'll be diving into this. But just to kind of show you guys again, you can go and sign up for the free one. Where did it go? Okay, so they're giving you the LMS navigation, the debt wallet navigation. This is huge right here, guys. I mean, Billy, you just solved half of my time I do every single day with the 2FA disable and enable hosting, mnemonic phrase, password reset, and wallet reset, restore. Oh, thank you, Billy. How much do I owe you for just providing this for free? Because I feel like you just made my life like so much easier.
Yep. Well, the good news, guys, is this platform here in the near future. And again, we're kind of giving you guys all the initial drop into this, but a lot of this content will be coming through Debtbox channels and potentially IX channels as well. We're in negotiations with Joe between Jake and Jason for all of this content. But you guys are getting the early release and you're getting it for free.
No, let me just play a quick. Clap for that.
Yeah.
But you can just kind of see like this is super, super well done, high quality stuff. So well done, man. I love it. Always providing value, always, giving back to the system. That's huge.
That's the idea, man. We want to see everybody succeed with this, and the horror stories of being, I have referrals that have been locked out of their account for 2 or 3 weeks as well, unable to buy hosting, which means after, original Debtbox guys. So everybody in the IX community, we still have 4 days to get that hosting handled, right? But original Debtbox owners, we got cut off January 1st. And I mean, I had people for, 2-3 weeks unable to mine because their 2FA had locked them out, so they couldn't get back in to buy hosting. So they're just sitting there getting no token, which is heartbreaking. Yeah. So we put our heads together. We actually have a securities attorney is also the head of our company as well. So everything's well within regulation. Everything's verified. We actually have one hell of a staff, guys. So, we just want to make sure that not only are we providing awesome product, right? We're providing a crazy commission structure, one hell of a community, but we're also going to make sure that you have all the tools and protections and safety to safeguard your accounts.
Awesome. I love it, guys. That's why your network is your net worth. The fact that we're able to just meet and connect with amazing people like this, across the globe is amazing. Mims, are you speechless yet, or can you make it make sense?
No, I mean, I'm definitely pumped up. I mean, look, buy more blocks, okay? Like, if you guys got to just, replay this, watch it, you know what I mean? Like, really grasp the magnitude of the information that he's sharing with you. He's telling you that, he quit his job because of this. You know what I mean? Like, this has been so successful for him that he's changed his family's lives. He got in on Black Gold early. He's sitting on, over 50 nodes, in NatG and Black Gold, and making serious money from this project, right? And we didn't even talk about the other nodes, because I know you got more of the other nodes. And then, we didn't even talk about the other nodes. We just talk about 2 of them. Okay, so you can just imagine. And then when I think, I don't know where Jason is actually at that number, but he might need to increase that millionaires number to probably closer to 100,000 or something.
I think we're going to go blow well past 10,000, guys.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, it's just early. We should talk about, the difference between a lot of these projects is 6 to 9 months. And Billy talked about how, November 2021, and then they didn't hit Pancake Swap, and it's almost 6 months later. And then that whole time they're accumulating these tokens, and the value is, they're seeing the value. And and we're in that same process now with blocks. And when you understand the magnitude of blocks, folks, you understand that they actually wanted blocks to be the first project to be launched before Black Gold, that there's pent up business value and relationships and activity kind of already under blocks. Like, it's already ready to blow. It's already ready to explode. There's a lot of stuff that's already been built in. And this was so powerful about what we're dealing with, because this is not a new concept that they just putting together. This is stuff that they've been working on for over a decade or so, that's been in their mind, the relationships that they have, being in Ghana and everything. So you're not just coming up on something where we're trying to build it and create it. It's like, no, they would just literally waiting for this technology to exist, or to figure out how can we decentralize these profits without coming across a problem where people have to be accredited investors, so to speak. How can we let everybody eat? You know what I mean? Like, everybody eats here. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing. Not just the top leaders, not just the CEO, not just the people who got big money who bought a whole lot, but literally everybody eats. And that's what we have here. And when you understand what's going on with the economy, and then when you understand companies that provide a solution to major problems, okay, and the magnitude and effect that they have on the global economy, and then also the magnitude and effect that they have in the people's lives who be a part of that early on. This is what we're experiencing. A lot of us, now, are future millionaires and multimillionaires, because of the heart and mind of the founders and Jason. And you're just hearing testimony tonight. Like, look, this is not something that we hope is going to work. Not something that we would like to see work. This is not something that we think work. This is not hype, hope, and speculation. This is not false promises. This is real. This is a reality. And this was available to you. And then for anybody who's like, well, wow, how do I, be a part of that? All you have to do is buy nodes. You just have to buy licenses. That's it.
Part is not even buying licenses that are earning you money every single day. You have the opportunity to get paid to sell
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's the best thing ever. I don't even know how people can't grasp this. It took me 5 minutes. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah. You're getting paid to sell ATMs. They already have cash.
I'm gonna give you an ATM with all this cash in it. This is, go ahead, Billy. You want to say something?
It's crazy. I just wanted to answer someone's question. So somebody hopped on and said, which one would you get if you could only get one, a Bev or a Blocks?
Good question.
Well, here's the difference, okay? Is the bottling I have a little bit of inside info on this one, guys, and this is going to come out of some shock to you guys. My wife brought the manufacturing plant to Debtbox. Okay? The VC firm that she works for was brought this project, looking for a potential buyer for the manufacturing and bottling and canning plant. So I do know some inside information on that. The coolest thing about this one is, well, it is what it is. One of the partners, one of the partners' very good friends, invested into the bottling and manufacturing plant. And I can tell you guys, I'm gonna segue for 1 second, okay? Because I've heard this a lot. Mike, I know you've heard this. Ricardo, I know you've heard this. What'd you guys see in Africa? Was it real? How many times you guys heard that question? I get that question all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where this means a lot to me to be able to relay this information to you guys, because we do hear that and we were boots on the ground, and it hits different with you not being there. Right. And I understand that. Right. So one of the partners that outside of Debtbox, okay, because they did buy this as a partnership through the hedge fund, right? One of the partners sold his water company last year for many hundreds of millions of dollars. So let's say he knows a little bit about water. Okay. There's something special with this bottling and manufacturing plant that they can do to bottle real rainwater, and no one else can do it. I'm gonna leave you guys with that.
All right.
You know where my vote is. You know where my vote is. Now, listen, Blocks is amazing. Okay. And the reason Blocks is amazing, and why that project is going to be so big is a handful of things. Number one is I've actually brought large builders and developers to Jason prior to this. For one, and I do know that currently right now on their books, they hold about 250 million in asset that's lent out right now. Okay. We're getting interest rate on that. They're getting recurring fees on that, which goes into that burn function. Okay. They are upping this upwards of 500 million. Okay. The second piece is one of the partners in Deadbox, who's the third partner that a lot of people don't even know who he is Chuck, and Chuck's elderly, and Chuck is awesome. But he is a developer by nature, and a friend of mine actually bought one of his properties recently, and another friend of mine is the broker on that property. So I know, again, right, real people, real assets, real projects. Okay, so a lot. It's funny, the oil, we've been there, right? The gold, we went and saw it. The aluminum, we went and saw it. Okay. But with the blocks, guys, I've seen this in action. I've personally met these people that are involved in these projects, because a lot of them here in Utah. And secondly, like I said, the bottling and manufacturing plant, I am fortunate enough to have brokered that deal, and my family that will benefit off of the real world side of that a little bit, which is great. But guys, I can tell you, okay, 2 projects that are very, very, very real. And it's amazing. So either one's going to be a win. I think you're going to see a shorter run with Bev, but a quicker ramp up, because that one is going to, instead of half, it's going to quarter. So I think it's going to escalate the token quicker, right? For those of you guys that want a faster return. For those of you guys that are a withdraw type person, I am a withdraw type person. I have an account that sits. I also have an account that I essentially live off now while we're building out Core One Crypto. But I think for those of you that are holders, right, you have your steady job. This is the retirement plan for you to be a millionaire way down the road just by simply holding on to token. I think blocks is the move. So Bev for you early guys, right? The guys that we want to see a quick return, spend money, ramp up that token quick. Blocks for the long-term guys that are going to hold and looking for that future big win way down the road. That's not financial advice.
But how big do you, I talk to people and I say, the Deadbox is like that Amazon, that Apple, that Uber, that Microsoft moment. It's one of those companies that come around and change the world forever, instead of set a standard, and I mean, how big do you see this? What the technology we have, the nodes, I know that the masses are really going to start coming as more and more of us get wealthier and wealthier and really start spending this, and seeing it in real time. But what do you see? How big do you see this thing in, 2, 3, 5 years?
Well, let's look at a picture of specifically shares, right? So let's assume right now the latest number that I got from Jason last week is the total account holders within the entire debt ecosystem. That means IX license holders as well as actual debt wallet holders, right? Is 374,000. Okay, there's 300 million people in the US on average. So, I mean, how big do you think Microsoft was when it only had a couple 100,000 people investing?
Wow.
It's going to be, I believe, guys, that we're going to see token prices more so. I would say a good realistic expectation of like the debt token, right? Because it is the ecosystem, it is the layer 1, right? Yeah. It's the Bitcoin of the ecosystem. Guys, I think we're going to see a $500 debt token. And I think we're going to see that in the next 2 years.
Hey, we get this disclaimer?
We've already manifested 1,000, so we're with you.
Look, fired up and excited. We're not financial advisors. We just want to give y'all some real value and let y'all know, like, there are real legitimate companies out here that are changing the world and changing the way things are done, and they're creating untold wealth. And I agree that a lot of these tokens are massively, massively undervalued. I mean, we haven't hit Binance yet. We have our own blockchain coming. There's so much information and news that's coming out and that's coming. We talk about MasterCard and Royal Bank of Scotland and all that stuff you're going to be able to do. And I mean, there's so much value here. And we're talking about real value that's already in the works, and it's just huge. It's very exciting. I'm just pumped up, man. I'm pumped.
Well, let me remind people, we're not financial advisors. Billy's a multimillionaire. We're retired, but we're not financial advisors because we don't want to have jobs. We're we're mentally unemployable. So again, Billy, thank you so much for coming on. Like,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
didn't think it was possible for me to get more excited. for one of our episodes. Like just hearing your story, the way you guys did it, of how you had to compound during that time of not being able to cash out is probably my big takeaway,
That's huge.
you know, of getting to spend time with you and hear you, you know, speak about
Yeah.
your journey.
Especially in this space. Yeah.
There's two things that I tell people, guys, that number one, that I was very thankful that we couldn't cash out, right? Because
Right.
you know, we all everyone likes spending money, right? I mean, it's a fact, you know, when you know, and especially when it was as easy to get as with a license. I mean, you roll out of bed and you're like, oh, I have money. Should I go spend it? You know,
Your money must sleep. Right.
So have discipline, guys.
Mm.
Have discipline and change your future, because you could do that with this, right?
Mm.
Don't let the new pair of red bottoms, right, or the new Montclair jacket, or, you know, Louboutin wallet, right? Get those things later. I'm telling you guys, if you have some discipline in this for a year and a half. Now, listen, we talked about real estate earlier, okay? A real estate rental, you got to have discipline in that for 5-10 years until you see a really solid return, okay? We're talking discipline in this in 24 to 36 months, real discipline. Keep your, you know, keep your day job, keep pushing, pack that extra $50 up, right? It adds up, okay? The second thing, my one regret, I'm going to give you guys my one regret with this, is that I didn't buy enough early on when I could have. I will be honest with you guys. If the first day that I sent Jason that wire had a couple more zeros, I'd love you guys, but I wouldn't be here.
I just love looking at Ricardo's face right now.
Well,
I know exactly what's going on.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out all the places I can pull money out the sky. And
Ricardo's going to the pawn shop tomorrow to
Oh my
borrow
God.
against some gold and silver. I can tell.
I'm liable to do that too. I might take a couple ounces of gold. Go ahead and pump. I mean, I'll make the money back in my node. You know what I mean?
Listen, guys, be responsible. You know, don't ever put yourself in a position where you're over leveraged, right? I mean, let's be responsible with it. But like I said, guys, that's my two takeaways. Okay, please, you know, continue to roll your profits. Have some discipline with withdrawing your token, even when you really want to buy something that's unnecessary. And if you have the means, again, if you have the comfortable means, right? We're not spending mortgage payments, car payments, stuff like that. But if you have the comfortable means, this is by far, I'm 45 years old. This is the best thing that I've ever found to put your excess responsible funds into.
I love it, brother. Again, thank you so much for coming on. I think this is our most fun watched. I'm going to cut this up, chop it up, get it out. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. Thanks for having me. Always here to help.
All right. You will definitely be on again, Billy. Thank you so much. All right, guys. That's it. Lace up.
Lace up. Let's get wealthy.
Peace.
Better run when the runners run. Show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum. Markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton. Crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run. You better run.